So I see online, huh? People say I'm broken, huh? You say I'm too old. I should retire. They should buy me out. All I have is a couple of bad games, huh? And so Spencer going to play tonight, and I'm gonna cry. You people, you're ungrateful, huh? You'll remember this come May, huh? When I shorting out Tampa, and we win again and again and again. I want to play.
The Florida Panthers have won the Stanley Cup.
Let's go Panthers! Let's go Panthers! Let's go Panthers! Let's go! Go!
Puck drop. And 3, 2, 1,
Let's go Panthers! Let's go Panthers! Let's go Panthers! Let's go! Go!
All right, Panther fans. So we got the Ducks tonight, and we got my water softener on. That's the noise you hear. I don't. It runs at 6 in the morning. Every morning at 6 o'clock, the water softener runs. Now, I don't know if you guys know how a clock works, but it's not 6 in the morning. But it decided to kick on about 10 minutes ago. So that's nice. So you're going to hear that in the background of this entire recap, which leads me to believe that I will have reason to continuously be irritated during this game. Let's see. Let's count all the reasons. The Ducks are not a team that really is as good as the Panthers, obviously. They are not a rival, okay? We already know this. They have some former Panthers on the team, right? And it is the last game before we go out on the road that we're playing at home. So, I haven't checked to see who's in net tonight, but we play, we got a back-to-back coming up here, I guess, on Tuesday and Wednesday. Yeah, that thing is getting loud and irritating. So I know Spencer's going to get one of those games. A lot of people thinking maybe Spencer should get tonight's game. Maybe he will. I don't know. Maurice did talk about the 2 goals that we gave up on the power play that were deflected. He said he wasn't looking at Bobrovsky on those. Obviously, he must have agreed, though, however, that the 4th one was pretty bad. What are we going to see from this team? I don't know. I don't know. You don't know. We used to know, right? We used to know what we were going to see from this team. Now, we might see 4 different versions of this team in each period. And not to mention 4 different line combinations of this team in each different period. Ekblad's not going to be back at least until Tuesday, so there's that. I'm tired of asking for 2 points. I asked for 2 points all the time last year, and it worked sometimes, and it didn't work sometimes. What am I asked for them to look like themselves in the last game. That didn't happen. So let's figure out what are we going to ask for now? What's the new thing? How about this? Stop pissing me off. All right, so it's no score after 1, but that didn't mean we didn't have any action in that period. So Spencer and I did get the start. I'm just like shocked beyond shocked that Maurice actually made that move. Then, of course, the thing to talk about here is what happened in the first period. Sam Reinhart gets a 5-minute major and a game misconduct for knee-on-knee. Now, on one hand, I guess some people are saying, regardless of intent, if it's knee-on-knee, it's usually going to be a game misconduct. I don't see how they could watch that play and think that it was intentional, but it is what it is. I don't know what you would do there. I don't know. Can they give him a 5-minute major but not a game misconduct? Is that an option to do? Because I can understand if they want to say knee-on-knee has to be a major, but I don't like it. I think it was honestly accidental. 2 guys, you could see at the speed it was happening, both of their legs just ended up in unnatural, awkward positions. I don't think Sam Reinhart is going around trying to knee guys. So, what are we going to see now? Well, we don't know. We've killed off 4.5 minutes of the 5-minute major. We've got about 30 seconds left of the penalty to start the second. And, of course, now, I would assume that you're going to move Sam Miskevich up to the top now, Maurice, Barkov, Samoskevich, Kachuk, Bennett, Luosterainen, Boquist, Lundell, Rodriguez, Greer, and then I'm sure I forgot somebody there. The point is that Samoskevich is trying to set up Luosterainen here, and if you would ever put him, Coach, if you would ever put Samoskevich with some players that can put the puck in the back of the net, I'm telling you, he'd be setting guys up like Huberdeau-ish. I don't know, man. The Ducks look like they want this game, but maybe Reinhart being out will piss us off. Let's move on a second. All right, so 1-0 Panthers after 2. Good game. It's a good game. Team actually looks as correct as we're going to look at this time of the year. So Jesper Boquist with his 11th goal. We're going to need to pay him. I mean, it's not going to be a big money contract, but, we need to get that. That's an extension that needs to happen. I can't praise goaltender in the middle of the game. That's it. Panthers have had a couple of power plays. The refs have been a little bit, they've called a couple, so I won't complain about it, but there was a couple of calls that could have gone. Chucky got a bloody lip, no call on the high stick, but it's all right. We look good. In Reinhart's absence, he's moved Rodriguez up to the top line. Samoskevich took his spot on the power play. Samoskevich is all over the ice. He just saved a goal in the front where Spencer Knight, the half the net was open, and Samoskevich was there to clear the puck from the crease. So nobody better complain about that kid's defense anyway. We've got, looking long-term between how Samoskevich is playing and Jesper Boquist and Balinskis and how Bornfoot is looking, we definitely have some reinforcements coming along the way. Bornfoot, his skating reminds me of Montour a little bit. So, all right, should be a good third period. Let's finish this up, Panthers. That's nice. 1, 2, 3, and 2 points in a shutout. And now, I know, I see the comments. I already know. I will be live tomorrow at noon for your therapy session, and everybody can tell me how it's time to give Spencer Knight the net and let Bob take a rest. And all I'm going to say is I'm going to just remind you of years past when Stu and I did the reviews in the morning, and there was more than once that we were like, that's it, Bob's done, Spencer's net. So it's a good problem to have. That's what we can say. He looked fantastic tonight. 34 saves, shutout. You can't complain about anything at all there. The defense, now, I'm not going to say the defense looks a lot better without Ekblad. I'm not going to say that. I'm not saying that. Just because we only allowed New Jersey to score a goal and we just shut out Anaheim, I'm not saying it's better without Ekblad. You did not hear me say that. Okay? So, what else did we see tonight? Like I said in the second period, after the second period, we've got some interesting decisions that we're going to need to be making. And I'm going to talk about the game in a second. But, you look at some of the guys that could be on their way out and some of the guys that need contracts. You don't know what we're going to do with Ekblad. You don't know what we're going to do with Bennett. And then you see guys that also need deals. This is Samoschevich's last year on his deal. He needs a contract. Boquist, obviously, he needs a deal. I'm not sure what the situation is with Bornfoot or Balinskis. I'm not sure if they've got any extra years or if this is the only time, if they need contracts as well. The point is that you can't keep all of the guys that win you a Stanley Cup together forever. And it is important that as you can foresee off in the future a guy leaving, that you have viable replacements that can play the style that you play. And Samoskevich, Boquist, Bornfoot and Balinskis qualify. So we're in good hands. We don't know what the rest of this season is going to bring, but I am not as concerned about the long-term prospects for this team as I would have been previously if you think about the possibilities of Ekblad walking or us letting Bennett walk as well. 20 games for no goals with Bennett. So, what we see on the ice, Chucky can't score. Chucky is in such a piss-poor position to score that he had the goal, he had Gibson beat, he hits the post and it curls off of the crossbar and out, and then he hits the post on the empty net from all the way down on the other side of the ice. It just won't go in. It just will not go in for him. Barkov looked like himself out there tonight. Like I said, Rodriguez took over for Reinhart. That was good. Sam Bennett, I don't know who that is in the number 9 jersey. He's not playing very physical at all, and he's not putting the puck in the back of the net, and he seems to very much just want to... He kind of looks like he's trying to play like Verhaeghe, like just trying to skate along, skate with the puck, having the puck, and not doing much with it, obviously. Max Samoskevich is gonna be better, in my opinion, at this point than Owen Tippett. You follow this channel, you know how I feel about Owen Tippett. He is just what this team is going to need coming up into the future. He plays this style masterfully. Okay, I know he needs to put on a little bit of weight. He's still a young kid. He's still a rookie, but every time he's out there, every shift, you just like what you got to see from him. Of course, he's not perfect, right? He's going to make the errant pass here or there and whatnot like that. But just how he looked at the beginning of the season versus now, you see improvement and growth in his game, and good jobs. The reason why I'm focused on him so much, obviously I want him to do well, but it has been said that the reason why Bill Zito has not won GM of the Year a couple of times is people question his drafting. And Samoskevich is the first guy. Well, Lundell was a Zito pick, but now you've got Samoskevich coming up and playing well, and so that maybe at some point Zito will be noticed for his drafting as well, and maybe he'll get a GM of the Year award at some point. Fourth line didn't really have a whole lot of opportunities tonight because with Reinhart out, they just were double shifting guys. You didn't notice them a whole terrible lot. The Lundell, Verhaeghe, Boqvist line, you got to sign Boqvist. You absolutely have to sign Boqvist. Now Verhaeghe, again, I mean, he's not in the same length of slump as Bennett or Tkachuk, but it's just not going in. He hit the post again. I'm telling you, Verhaeghe went blind in one eye. Everything is wider, hits the post. So, I don't know. I keep saying I have confidence that he's going to pull out of it. Can he go a whole season like this and the playoffs? I mean, at some point, a couple of lucky goals are going to go in and it's going to break the slump, right? It's got to happen. But Jesper Volquist absolutely needs to be... I wouldn't mind seeing the second line be Lundell with Boqvist and Samoskevich. Let's see what the hell happens with some of that. There's no sense. We may as well experiment with things, right? We're scoring 1 or 2 goals a game. So we may as well have some fun with seeing how these guys interact together. In terms of the defense, I know it's just Anaheim, so there's not a lot of high-end talent. Toronto did dominate a little bit for about 5 minutes there. But I do like Bornfoot and Balinski's game. Bornfoot, when I'm watching him skate, how he moves in and out of the zone and everything like that, reminds me a little bit of Montour. Reminds me a little bit of Brandon Montour there, where you could see he could be a viable two-way defenseman. And, same thing with Balinskis in the sense that if they do get themselves out of position a little bit, they have the speed to get back. And the way that those two are playing, obviously I know Ekblad's going to come back and he's going to be Forsling's pair. But I don't know. in terms of Bill Zito having to give up assets to go get a guy, when you look at what we have, Forsling, Ekblad, Mikula, Kulikov, Bornfoot, Balinskis, and that still leaves Schmidt and Adam Boqvist out. I mean, maybe you go get a guy to be an upgrade over Schmidt. I know Maurice likes him and does have him on that top power play unit. But what we need is speed, and Bornfoot and Balinskis, they're not super fast, right? But they can hold their own. And the more that I see those two play, especially now that Bornfoot's up, I start to wonder if we really are going to be all that aggressive in going and getting a defenseman. In terms of the forward group, to be honest with you, I would think that where we really need an upgrade is at 4C. Nosek has been moderately acceptable. I believe his face-off percentage is below 50%, where he's traditionally been like 52 to 54%. And that's a big drop. And if anything, that would be a position that I'd like to see possibly upgraded. And a guy like that's not going to come all that expensively. I know Rosado and I have been talking about it on the noon streams, thinking maybe go get Noel Acciari from Pittsburgh. His face-off percentage as well. And obviously, we know we were comfortable with him on the ice. So when I look at what I'm seeing on the ice as a whole, right now, if I had one pick, if I had enough assets to go get one guy, it would be an upgraded 4C. The reason why Nosek was supposed to be an acceptable replacement for Stenlund was Nosek's face-offs, and it's just not happened. And he was coming back from injury, and there was some thought that maybe he would get better as the season goes on. But when you take into account Samoskevich and Boqvist, especially Boqvist putting 11 goals in right now, and Balinskis is really settled in. Bornfoot looks just fine. When you look at all of that, I really kind of think that if I only had one pick, if I'm Zito and I can only make one move, I think in the long run, when you talk about wanting to roll 4 lines in the playoffs and it's a defensive game and, possession means everything, I think maybe I would start looking at the possibility of upgrading over Nosek and see if you can't get a guy that's going to get you more 51, 52% in the face-off circle. And because you're not getting any production out of him. It's not like he's scoring goals. He's not Kevin Stenlund, that's for sure. I don't know, maybe we can go get Kevin Stenlund, but, stranger things have happened. All right, and last but not least, Spencer Knight versus Bobrovsky. They're not going to make Bobrovsky the backup. So let's just start there. That's not happening, okay? Now, was I surprised to see Maurice start Knight tonight? You bet. But that's a good surprise. Now, we still have the back-to-back coming up on Tuesday and Wednesday. And considering the fact that Knight just shut out the Ducks, it wouldn't surprise me to see Knight get the game on Tuesday. But then I would assume you get Bobrovsky on Wednesday. But as soon as I say that, Paul's going to watch the recap and Bob will start on Tuesday. So there's that. Of course, now that I said that, maybe he'll change it back to Spencer. I'm on to you, Paul. I'm on to Maurice, okay? Everything I say, he just immediately does something either the opposite or not quite. Just, like when I asked for Samoskevich on the top line, he says, I'd put him on the second. So, but Spencer Knight, definitely, I don't want to stand here right now too soon, too early, and jinx him and say he's turned the corner. What I will say is that if he continues to develop at the pace he is right now, Florida Panthers, when you look at the other players that I've talked about, Samoskevich, etc., we may be looking at a situation where we could have a much more extended Stanley Cup window than we had initially feared or thought anyway. And the last thing I'll say is if Spencer Knight does eventually take over for Bobrovsky and has as much success as we would like him to have, I just want to take a moment to say, let's not forget that it is all Dale Talon that did that. All right? Talon is responsible for getting us from Luongo to Bobrovsky to Spencer Knight. So I know we gave him a lot of shit when he was here, and some of it he did deserve, some of it he didn't. And, we could be looking at, between Luongo, Bobrovsky, and Knight, I mean, we could easily be looking at, 20 straight years? 15, 20 straight years of exceptional goaltending, all courtesy of Dale Talon. So let's not forget that when we're giving Bill Zito all the credit. He inherited. He didn't inherit a gremlin. You know what I mean? So, all right, that's gonna do it. I will be live tomorrow at noon for your therapy session. And then I'll post the link tomorrow night. Colin and I on the football channel will be streaming Ravens and Bills. And I think we're going to have to root for the Bills. Because what we're rooting for is somebody to beat Kansas City. And I think we trust Buffalo to do that more than Baltimore. So, all right, a big, fat, juicy 2 points. And I'll see you at noon.